like to keep things very simple. I'm a very simplistic kind of guy when it comes to lifestyle, and very very logical, very pragmatic, and very organized. So my, if you want to call it a studio, my workspace, my house, is just, it's whatever I'm working on at the moment. And like with this body of work, some of this is old work, a little bit of it is old, most of it is new for the show. I just always I have lists. I have multiple lists. Like for this show, I probably had 8 different lists, and one of those was just general ideas of pieces I wanted to make. And out of probably 35, 40 pieces, I ended up with, I'd say 35 of those. A few of them I had to scratch. And so I'm very fluid with ideas. Like the idea, to be honest, is probably the easiest part for me.
Sure.
And production a lot of times is very easy, especially if I've done it before. Like a lot of this stuff is brand new, and that's one of the reasons I make work is to, when I like the mirror piece, the lit up mirror in the back corner there. Something I've wanted to make for a while, but didn't know how. I've seen those. They were real popular, I think, in the 70s and 80s. Those like weird coffee table deals, and I was like, man, I want to make one of those. I love those things. Like and it starts out with, I just want to make one. And then it's like, okay, what do I want to make it about? How visually do I make it into a piece for this particular show? And so a lot of times I actually start with either the material or the process or whatever it may be, something that I find an interest in, and then I figure out where how to make that process or that material into a piece of mine. Sometimes it starts with the idea, and that idea is, I need to make this shotgun. What am I going to make it out of? It's like, well, I can't make it out of metal, and so it has to be these kind of materials. And I'm not going to do a drawing because that has to be real. And that piece in particular is a shotgun from a video game, so it's not real, and the idea of making it real was a big part of the piece. So a lot of it is fluidity from either from material to idea or vice versa. I want to, especially in a show like this at an academic place, show students that it is not only possible to have a show with disparate work, but beneficial, not only for yourself as an artist and as a human, but for the viewer. Personally, I'm not a big art fan. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Like, I'm not well versed in contemporary art. I don't have an interest in contemporary art for the most part. And I try to stay, a lot of times, as ignorant as possible of it. And that, for me, oftentimes is a way to know that when I come up with an idea, that it's not original, but that it's my idea. That I know that it's coming from inside and not just a regurgitation. And like I said, it's not that I'm trying to be original by any means, because I'm not shooting for that, and I don't think that anything in this show is original, because it all comes from somewhere else. It's all either inspired by somewhere else or literally has elements that I took from somewhere else. But it is very important to me that I know that as I'm working through these ideas, as I'm trying to work through my own thoughts, that they are genuine, and that I'm not. I have made drawings before. I made a blood drawing a long time ago that's not in this show, that years after I made it, I realized I had just recreated an album cover from years and years ago that I didn't even know. And so I try to make sure that stuff is as genuine to myself as possible. But when I walk into a gallery, I want to see shows that are similar to this, where you walk up to a piece, you take it in, and you walk 5 feet to the left, and the piece you're seeing is totally different. I think what we're a lot of times taught in school and by the art world in general is that in order to become well known, in order to get any sort of notoriety, in order to get any sort of opportunities, that you have to do a thing, and you have to make that thing good, and you have to make everybody like that thing. And I have always kind of struggled against that idea because I think it's very limiting, and it teaches artists, young artists, and even older artists, that branching out and trying to become a better artist in general or a better human being is just not profitable, and not necessarily profitable money-wise, but spiritually, emotionally, whatever, intellectually, all those ways. So I use this opportunity at this school to try and show people a lot of different things, these young students, a lot of different things. And one of those things is that you can bounce around and do everything or anything you can think of, and your thing can be doing it